Hi, welcome to a slightly later Barmy Army Isolation podcast. Sorry about the first one. Something went wrong. No idea. Technology. Could be the heat. We don't know. Tonight, I'm joined by John and Jack. And we're going to have... all right, guys, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
I'm good, cheers.
Good. So tonight, we're going to be talking... We're going to be ambitious. We're going to try and pick the five-a-side team that we would all like to play, if possible. And we're going to talk about some standout moments as well. So I suppose I can say honestly, and I think you probably will as well, Jack, that we go to Old Trafford quite regularly. We're both season ticket holders. And I didn't think, for me personally, the team would take the impact it has done on myself, probably the same as you. You were very much at the very beginning of having conversations with you, all men's team. The men's team was your team. You moved over to be in Manchester to be closer to the team. So was there a moment, just one moment, when you went, actually, this is the team I now want to go and follow, support, kind of thing?
Yeah. I'm trying to think after which game it was, but I know which game it was before. We were nearing the end of the season, and we had maybe like a couple of games left, maybe in the league. I think it was after the Tottenham game. Could be wrong. Away, and we were going to play Millwall next, and the men were playing against Chelsea on the same day at Old Trafford, and I had a bit of a meltdown, and I didn't really know what to do, because logically you're thinking, oh well, Old Trafford, I've got a season ticket and it's paid for, so there's the money side of it, and there's also the side of, well, I've been with this team, I followed this team, years and years and years and years. I mean, even before a season ticket holder. But the heart wanted what the heart wanted. So I had to go, even though we'd already won the league and all that, I just wanted to be there with the team that I felt most connected to, and that was the Millwall game. So,
I remember sitting on the coach on the way home from Tottenham with you, and I shouldn't laugh, but if I don't mention it, I know Deborah will, is that it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It was funny because I was in the same boat. It was United Chelsea at Old Trafford, but it was United Millwall, and I was going, which is more important? It's United Chelsea. Historically, that's a big game. But United Millwall, by then we would have been confirmed as champions, potentially.
Yeah.
It was a tough decision. John, when did you realise the involvement that you had with the involvement that this team had made up on you?
Yeah, for me, it wasn't necessarily the actual games. It was more to do with the atmosphere and the friendliness in the fan base, to be honest. I'd been watching a lot of it on MUTV the first season. And obviously you get excited about seeing a Manchester United team win and watching some of the players develop and grow. Players who I never heard of, really. I only ever heard of Alex Greenwood at that point. So I was seeing some of the players develop from, I think I started watching them November, December time, so I missed the first few matches. And then seeing them almost every week or so, getting them results and actually taking the league by storm. I know it was a low league, but it was still winning all the same. And so that got me into it. And then I joined Twitter, and that's where I come across the Barmy Army. And Natalie's very active on Twitter as well. And that's where I actually felt like I want to be a part of this, not just the teams and the games, but actually a part of the whole community and a part of the whole fan base. And then as soon as I could buy a season ticket for the following season, I was on it. So for me, it was just the whole. There's no negativity. There's all positivity, and I guess that helps because it was getting good results. But there were just so much good vibes about the team.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, hi John, hi Jake. I completely agree. Sometimes, and Jack might agree or he might not. The game is sometimes secondary to being in with the crowd. I mean, I remember a conversation Jack and I have and do still have on occasion is that going to the game you just go to the game with your mates, just to have a couple of hours with your mates. I mean, on the BA bus, you know, they are long days, but they're a lot of fun, and the game sometimes passes you by. You don't actually remember key moments of the game. You just go and have a good time with your mates, and that's what football is. It's a family kind of thing, and I think that's, for me, I didn't expect to be as in love with the Man United women's team as I am. I was very much like Jack. Old Trafford. Old Trafford is where I go, and I'm a certain age. I can admit I was wrong, and and football. The game that I like to go and watch now is the women's game, but I still love to go to Old Trafford. And watching the game tonight from Old Trafford, it was weird because I couldn't be there.
Yeah. The fans are a massive part of it, and to see that quote from At Busby tonight, football's nothing without fans, rings very true. And I think that's one of the main reasons as well why the women's game, or specifically going to the United women, is such a brilliant thing. I mean, if to touch upon what you were saying, obviously the games are enjoyable and we love being there, but at the same time it's the ride down from the crazy get up at 5-6 o'clock in the morning, get in the car with you and Deb, go to our meetup place, get in the bus, have food, drink. It's all about planning, of course, with me, like which takeaway we're gonna have as well.
Well, obviously. Food's an important part of the trip, let's face it.
Yeah.
I've not got to look the way I do without having to think about the food.
Yeah, well, we're all getting there one way or another, but
trust me, I'm there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know whether people out who are watching this know, Jack actually runs the Barmy Army travel account for us. He's the guy who answers all your messages. So hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe next year we'll be back on the road.
Hope so.
Going down, hopefully, but we'll see. So, John, you watched a lot of the championship season, you said on MUTV and so on and so forth. Was the one, not to try and go into it, was the one point where you went, next season I'm doing this? Or was it just the way we played it as a whole?
I think for me, it wasn't just the actual game. It was, for me, what turned it the most was when I joined Twitter, which was about April time. So that kind of coincides with like where we kind of won that league title. It was just getting to know you guys on social media, and then I thought to myself, well, I want to be there with these people as well. And obviously, I could see you guys in the stands because the cameras always go on the louder members of the fans. And I was thinking, I want to be a part of this now. I've been watching every game. I want to go, and I had a look where it was on the map, and it was fairly easy to get to because the journey was okay for me. So I thought there's nothing holding me back here. I actually want to be a part of this, and seeing them lift the cup and how much it meant to them, and they considered they were succeeding and getting into the league higher. For me, there were just no doubt I was actually going to start going to matches. And then when I saw the price of the ticket for the season tickets, I thought might as well just go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that we can all say about women's football, and it's not a horrible thing to say, it's affordable. You can make it a family day out kind of. I bring my niece, my nephew, my sister-in-law comes, my dad comes occasionally. It's you can actually have a full family day out for the Jack and I would tell you the price of our season tickets for Old Trafford. You can buy. I could buy quite a few women's ones for the same cost. So moving on from from what we were talking about. Sorry, Jack.
But before you continue, I mean, for me, one men's match on my season ticket is the equivalent of a full league season's women's ticket season.
Same
here. So, there you go in terms of affordability.
Yeah. And the ref is watching us. Evening, ref. So, kind of moving on to a different side of the conversation. Is there a moment, just a particular moment, it can be on the pitch, off the pitch, anything you really want, that you stand out and you go, yes, I like that. That's going to be with me for a while. It's going to be with me forever. Mine, I've got two. One of them is purely a family thing. My niece, Natasha, I don't know if she's watching. She probably is. Hi, Tash. She was a mascot for the first game against Reading at LSV. So for a purely family thing, it was kind of nice to see my niece come out for the first ever home game. My second one is Zelly's free kick this season against City. Jack, you and I, we went to a lot of championship games. We scored and celebrated a lot of goals. But I don't ever really remember us celebrating a goal the way we celebrated Zelly's free kick. Those are my two moments that I will take with me for a long time. John, any standout moments for you?
Yeah, mine was the Etihad. I know that we lost that game, but for me personally, that to me. I know that I knew from that game that I made the right choice in deciding to go to the matches and getting that season ticket, because meeting up beforehand, meeting up with people who I've been watching on YouTube and speaking to on Twitter, introducing myself to some of you guys, and even a couple of people recognising myself as well. It felt nice. The walk to the stadium, singing the songs that I'd only ever heard you guys sing. I was able to join in with that as well. There's a couple of people making some YouTube videos on the day as well. So, it was nice to be a part of that. And just seeing actually in person what the Barmy Army actually brings to the table in real life, and not just seeing it on MUTV. Obviously, the game itself was a disappointment in regards to losing. But even then, we was in the game until the very final minutes. We was only 1-0 down. Jackie hit the post with about 5-10 minutes to go. So that could have easily been a 1-1. So for me, that first game, I couldn't have asked for a better first game for me, because that just sucked me right in, and I've been to every home game, league and cup since.
Before we move on to Jack, do you think the women's game should be played at the men's stadium, though? Do you not think it takes something away from LSV potentially? Jack?
Oh, sorry. I thought that question was for John.
Whoever wants to answer it.
Go on.
Okay, yes. For me, I understand why the league wants to do it, because it's an attraction and look how many people we can bring in and all that kind of thing. But those, it's a one-off, as Deb's saying on messages, need to fill the stadiums on a regular basis, and also that it's paid for full on a regular basis, i.e. that, because a lot of teams, we know they'll give freebies in order to fill up stadium, and to make it profitable, and to make it must see, people need to be paying for it. Again, I understand the reasoning behind doing it as a one-off, but on a regular basis, we need to fill up, and not just us at LSV, but teams around the league should be thinking about filling up paid seats every week, every match, and then they can start thinking about the men's pitches, because the atmosphere suffers when it's only like 10, 15, 20% full.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. There's nothing like a smaller. I love Old Trafford. I love Old Trafford when it's bouncing. There's nothing better than Old Trafford when it's absolutely bouncing. But a smaller ground with fewer people, if you can fill it, the atmosphere will be a lot better. So everyone is saying
the best moments for me. I mean, I know I can talk about others, but us in a little shed away against Tottenham.
Absolutely.
That's a brilliant day.
Yeah, I didn't break it though. I didn't break the shed though, Jack.
Well, no, I didn't either. I just kicked it. I didn't break it. It was someone else that actually broke it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The point for me about the Etihad, I agree with everything John said. The meeting up. I know you couldn't meet us beforehand, Jack. You had to be you were somewhere beforehand. But meeting up at the Velodrome, having a chance to get to meet new people who had come to meet us was great. Walking across from the Velodrome, to me, that walking across from the Velodrome, it felt like we were the Dutch fans who go off and just sing all the way there. We were getting some looks as we were going in, but didn't expect anything less. As an opening game of the WSL season, it was a great thing to be a part of. But when you can fill 30,000 one week and then the week after your crowd back down to your average of 1,200, everyone has made the point that you fill your home ground, you fill LSV first, and when you've got an overcapacity, then you move up to your bigger ground. So besides Tottenham, Jack, which I agree, it's a great. I enjoyed that whole day. I remember getting in about 3 o'clock in the morning, but but I remember that for your breakdown more than anything else, because your breakdown was pure comedy.
True.
So besides Tottenham, any others? You got any standout moments?
Well, you could go again for on pitch. You could go for like personal stuff. I happened to be abroad for the Crystal Palace game, which is the one that we guaranteed the title last season.
Yeah.
And you and Deb called me from the match so that I could be in somewhat part of it still. And that's special. It's special not only because, watching the team, win the league, but special because, you kind of thought of me and gave me the opportunity to still be a part of it.
I think talking about that moment,
yeah,
it's about. I know Nat's using this word and she's using it quite a lot, and I've used it today on Twitter. So you go to football to be with your friends, but we've evolved from being friends into a small, kind of like a small family, a community.
Yeah.
And I knew what that team meant to you at that point. And I know the Villa game was a rearranged game, so technically you weren't going to miss that one, because if it was the first game would have been on. And I said to you before you went away, I said, if we win it, I'll FaceTime you. And I did do. And I was stood with Tashi or Max, I can't remember which one, and we FaceTimed you and we saw you, we let you have the last minute and a half of the game, and you were going mad over the phone about the ball not being cleared. You were completely in it. And then the game finished and you started crying.
Well, I did ask you to turn the camera towards the pitch so that you wouldn't see me tearful. But yes, I am the emotional type. And yeah, it did mean that much to me. Like, again, not only watching the team from abroad and, watching them win the league, but the gesture, to call me from the pitch, allow me to be a part of the moment, it really meant something. I mean, again, if you want to look purely on pitch, few of the games this season have been massive. Obviously, the Etihad and all that. And without a doubt, the win against City in the League Cup was a big moment. I mean, you mentioned Katie's goal from the free kick, which was fantastic. But also watching Jess score the second goal, we all went bonkers for the goal of that game, because it was like our first major and currently only win against the established top three.
Yeah.
So it's a big moment.
One of the points that Jake's mentioned, and I put up just now in the comments, is LJ's goal against Liverpool. Again, it was a big moment, that goal. It was our first goal we scored in the WSL, and it was against the rivals.
On our way to the first win in the WSL as well. Up until that point, we'd lost to City, we'd lost to Arsenal. It was a big moment. Yeah.
One of the things, Jack, Jack, don't let Mark off easily. He went back on his word. She's having a go at me because I said, "Oh no, I'm not going to Chelsea." And anyway, we know how that ended, don't we?
Unless I'm mistaken, you later admitted that you were already booking the tickets while we were on the way back, even while you were saying, "No, not going."
No, they were booked on the way back. They were.
Yeah.
I just wanted in my head to say I was going to Old Trafford, when I knew I wasn't really. John, Liverpool this season, the goal LJ scored, that's got to be a standout moment for most of us. Was it a big moment for you watching LJ score the first?
Yeah, it was. Even though the City win, I think, was potentially a bigger win in the sense of who we was against. I think at that moment in time against Liverpool, we lost our opening 2 matches, and we were 70 minutes in to our third match and still hadn't scored. Little things behind it, like LJ's 18th birthday the day after, our first goal of the WSL. Lots of emotion was behind that first goal. So to me, I think I celebrated that one louder than the City goal. I mean, just the actual goal itself. I mean, she scored a similar goal later on in the season as well, where she's in pretty much the same position. She steadies it with her right foot and then hits it in the goalkeeper's bottom left with her left foot. Even though the goalkeeper must know it's coming, they just don't seem to get anywhere near it. And, it topped off a fantastic season for LJ.
Yeah, I mean, for me, voting in the player of the season, for me, it was a close one between LJ and Hayley Ladd. I know other people will probably go, it was Hayley Ladd the whole way. She was standout. But I think LJ, from that Liverpool goal, she's just got a cool, calm head on her shoulders for someone of her age. And she can only get better. And I think that's the scary thing for a lot of teams out there, is the fact that she is so young and she will only get... She's got her level when she can go well above it for me. I mean, her brother at Chelsea, he's potentially one of the best right backs and one of the best British right backs. And LJ can potentially be one of the best British female footballers. Hopefully she might get into the England squad soon, but I know there'll be people who are coming in the comments and I'll go, no, don't want to play for England. But it's a great honour to play for your country, so I suppose you have to weigh that up. So before we get onto the five-a-side, very, very quickly, I'm not going to ask Jack because I know where Jack's answer already is. On Twitter last week, there was a conversation going on, John, club over country. You chose club, I believe, but you wouldn't mind England doing well.
Possibly for the wrong reasons, though. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind England doing well. So, of course, especially in World Cups and European Cups, you got 4 weeks there of football where it's exciting and you get behind the team. But I do remember putting on Twitter that I like the England Lionesses to do well. to develop women's football. So obviously, coming off the back of the World Cup last year, obviously there was a big hype around women's football, and that led into maybe like the first few weeks of the season. But now for me, it's always club over country, definitely, yeah.
And before anyone asks, Jackie's purely country over club, always.
Yeah, the country of Mancunia.
It's that one question that every football fan, it keeps popping up in, whether you support a men's team, a women's team, whatever is it, it's club before country. And as a Manchester United fans, we get it. You know, I remember going back to the 90s where United players dominated the England setup, and it's still being asked now. Jake in the comments agrees that Lauren deserves a call up, definitely. And my wife is telling me to tell you, Jack, that I folded before we got home, but I wanted you to break first, apparently.
Oh, but I'd broken, and you knew, everybody knew I'd broken. Like, I'd be surprised if people on the motorway back home couldn't hear my howling and crying.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Right, we're now going to try and do this five-a-side picking of a team you would like to have a team play against. So, the first question I'm going to ask is kind of a controversial one. Are you both having a goalkeeper in your team?
I assumed that we were, which is why I did pick a goalkeeper. But if we're not doing goalkeepers...
No. It's your team, Jack. You can have him in it, whoever you like.
Okay, so I will go with a goalkeeper then.
John, have you got keeper in mind?
Yeah, goalkeeper, yeah. Okay,
right. So I'm going to presume we've all got the same goalkeeper then. In Mary.
Yeah.
I've chosen Mary. Yeah.
Yeah, but I chose Mary, and it was in my head I was thinking Mary or Shiv, and it was a close one for me.
I chose Mary because more to do with her shot stopping abilities and her being our potentially best goalkeeper. However, I think you made a point a few weeks ago, Mark, that distribution wise and passing it out, it doesn't really always fill you with that confidence. So to me, that wasn't an easy choice if it's a five-a-side game. But I have chose our best keeper. Yeah.
If people want to try and come up with their five-a-side team, put them in the comments. We'll put them on the screen. We'll see if we can all agree. Go on, Jack. Sorry.
With Siobhan, I think. I mean, obviously, yes. There's the issue with Mary in regards to, especially in the latter part of the season, distribution and also concentration. But I think shot stopping and also playing at a higher level. Siobhan, I know obviously she's an international goalkeeper as well. You know, she's played for England as well. But in terms of playing this season or last season, the WSL, we've not seen Siobhan against the Arsenals, Chelseas, the Cities in the WSL, at least not last season. Though she did do quite well actually in the League Cup game against Arsenal previous season. I think she kept us in that actually. But Mary has been tested at that higher level. Siobhan, not with us anyway. Maybe with other teams, but not with us. And I'd need to see her at that level to pick her over Mary, really.
Yeah. My not issue, because it's a great decision to have to make between two England number ones, was it was purely down to John, her shot stopping, Mary's shot stopping on a five-a-side, but also, and I think everyone's been critical of Mary's distribution. I think she's slightly better at sometimes, maybe getting her distribution out of the ball out of her feet quicker. So for me, it was purely down to that. But it's like I said, it's a great decision to have to make, like, over 2 number ones. And just at any point, did any of the others come into your mind, or were you just Mary straight away?
For me, it was pretty much Mary straight away, simply because, you know, we've not really seen enough of, at least at United. I know other players. I know other fans have watched maybe Rambo or Bentley on loan, but, you know, I've not seen really them play other than the few minutes that they maybe got over the last couple of seasons. And Aurora, of course, I don't know if that really counts because she's departed now, but anyway, even if it does, you know, she played 1 game, you know, that I anyway. So
no, fair enough. Right, now, have you gone for what? Have you picked a formation? Have you gone for 2 defenders or 1 defender? Which way have you gone here?
I picked 1 defender.
Okay, John?
Kind of. I've gone for a defensive-minded player.
Okay.
So I've gone for like a bit of a diamond. So I've gone for like a defensive-minded player with 3 people ahead of her.
Okay. So, John, who have you gone for?
I've gone for someone who's a rock, who's good at picking the ball up from the person behind her and making a few forward passes. And I've gone for someone who's very composed. So I've gone for our player of the year, Hayley Ladd.
Okay.
So even though she's not necessarily a defender, I do think that she'd make it very difficult to get past. And I've gone quite attacking, to be honest. I have gone attacking, but yeah, I think she'd be okay in that position, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult not to say how good Hayley Ladd is. For me, as I said previously, I thought it'd be close between her and LJ for Player of the Year. And in fact, when you look at the voting that came out of the BA Twitter account, it wasn't actually that close in the end. For me, and I'm going to mention it because I mention it every time I get the opportunity about Hayley Ladd. For me, that goal against Leicester, just the coolness on the ball, the celebration in itself, it stands out as my goal of this. I know, you know, Zelly's free kick against City, I said he's my moment, but that goal in that game, that's my moment of that game is Hayley Ladd scoring that goal.
No coincidence that there's like a handful of goals that do always stand out and get mentioned on regular podcasts or conversations, and Hayley Ladd's is one of them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know when we signed her, people were saying, you know, this is the player you need, and she's come in, and it looks like she's been there for years. The way she just picks the ball up from the back and she can take it forward. Jack, I'm going to have a guess at yours.
But before you have a guess at mine, I will just say that John's decision to go with Hayley as a more like defender rather than a midfielder. You know, Hayley has played right back and she can slot in central defence. So, you know, that is a fair choice. But go on, Mark. You guess who I've picked, and I'm sure you'll get it right.
I'm going to guess you've gone Millie.
I've gone Millie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, self-explanatory. You know, she's our best defender. She's tall. She's good with her feet. She's got the speed. She knows how to read the game. So, you know, I know that John called Hayley our rock at the back. I see a rock maybe somewhere else. But Millie, for me, rock at the back, have to go with her.
Yeah. John has said in the comments, Hayley also plays centre-back for Wales. I mean, obviously, Jack, because you're such a big clubber, you're such a big countryman over club, you obviously knew that. But
I knew that, yeah.
No, not surprisingly, I've gone Millie as well. The reason I've gone for Millie is mainly the reasons you said. She plays the ball out from the back. She is, to me, one of the calmest people you want on the ball. She never panics. I've never seen her panic, you know. And also, she's good for a good Cruyffy turn every now and again.
Exactly. She's got technique for a defender. last season we were talking about her and Amy like Rio and Vida, and you know, both of them, you know, world class in their own right. But Millie, I really see her like a Rio Ferdinand type player, very calm on the ball, has skill, you know, very good player.
Yeah, I think.
And you know, in terms of club over country, again, for me, I hope she never plays for England ever. But for her, she does deserve to be in the England side sooner than later, probably.
I know I'm probably not speaking out of turn here, and I know they're going to pop up in the comments, but the minute, and I mean by the minute Millie Turner gets an England call-up, Deborah and Nat will be getting tickets for that game. Wherever it will be, they will be all over that. And the fact is that they won't even deny it because they've talked about it already. I think being critical and people have been critical of the one critical part of Millie, and I think I think it's probably a bit harsh, is that she gets into such good positions at corners, she doesn't score probably enough as she should. But I think personally that's being overly critical. If you look at the highlights of Everton away in the Conti Cup at Southport this season, she needed a couple of chances to score. And as I promised, here it is from that. They're going VIP. Oh, for Millie, Zelly and LJ. So, I mean, it's sorted. So we're all sorted.
Yeah.
I love the way Millie plays. You know, she is Rio. She just comes out, and it's last season when we were all applauding Amy and her, and now she's got that tough tackling defender next to her, whether it'll be Abby or Amy. I love the partnership, but Millie for me is just one of those players I like to watch because she's got the technique, as you said, John. Is she a favourite of yours, John?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember last time I spoke to you on here, I says that she's like my vice captain as well. I really do rate her a lot. I don't know obviously much about off the pitch as well, but I can really imagine that the rest of the team almost looking up to her in some way, especially the young ones. And she seems just to create a good atmosphere as well. So yeah, I can't speak highly enough of Millie.
Yeah, Jake in the comments, he said he expects her to be in the squad soon. Definitely competition. I agree. You know, it's the one thing we've got is some good English centre backs. And John has said all English centre backs have how many of them score regularly from corners? Probably not enough. But Millie needs to score more. But I think that's probably being overly critical of what a good player she is. So have you both gone? So John's gone for a diamond formation. Have you gone for a similar formation, Jack? Have you gone for two midfielders or what?
I don't know if this is a formation in a five-a-side, but I've gone a 1-1-2. If that's
okay. Oh, I've got a feeling I know who it could be, but I'm not going to guess because I could be very wrong.
Okay.
Zelly.
No. I went with Hayley in the middle.
Okay.
You know, yes, you could look at Jackie, you could look at Katie, because they're more the, you know, that they know how to tick around the ball and they're creative and that kind of thing. But Hayley, I feel, you know, you mentioned earlier the goal that she scored against Leicester, and at times also some of her distribution. She's got quite a good level of technique and passing on her as well. She can distribute the ball well. She's hard in the tackle, and she can score. You know, I know that she's only got one goal, but I could be mistaken. But I'm sure that I've seen you know, clips of her taking free kicks as well before she came to United. So she's an all-round good player, and unlike John, I've got maybe a bit more defensive than him.
Okay.
But yeah, I've gone with Hayley in the middle because she's all around tough in the tackle and good creatively as well for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the comments here. People are talking about the England environment and everything else. John, who have you gone for in your next pick?
Yeah, I've gone for on the left. I've got Leah Galton. So she's my most exciting player of the team. When she gets on the ball, you know, I just expect something to happen right away. Whether that's her taking on players or running towards goal, or even just getting some crosses into the box. Yeah, Leah Galton for me would be fantastic in the five-a-side as well. I think she's quick-footed, she's skillful, she can take players on, she can score goals. So yeah, I've gone for Galton on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this. I think the one thing that we can say is United women fans is that we have a plethora of fantastic talent at the club. LJ, Millie, Leah. You can go on and on and on and say how many good players we've got. I love watching Leah play. To me, I know Deborah and I we've said it on a podcast recently. Leah on one side and Kirsty Hansen on the other side. Two natural wingers with natural pace can get past fullbacks. It's I love watching. That's what I love to watch. Wingers just bombing on, and I've not seen in the game. You know, you can't really compare them to Giggsy and Sharkey or Giggsy and Kuchelskis, but they have the potential of being. If just to go is I love watching it. I know Leah's a bit of a favourite of yours, Jack, as well.
Yeah, she is. And she's in my team as well. So there you go.
Yeah, I never would have guessed.
Yeah, I know. It's surprising, isn't it?
It's surprising. My pick, and I'm going to probably be in a small minority, is I've gone for Jackie. Now, the reason I've gone for Jackie is I think most people would agree we've not probably seen the best of her this season. But through this whole isolation and lockdown period, NUTV have shown highlights of the women's games. And like as I said earlier on in here, sometimes the game passes you by and you don't actually realise what you're watching until you re-watch it later. And I can honestly say I didn't realise the passes Jackie was making during some games. So for me, playing five-a-side, I know you're not playing on a full-size pitch, but you want a player who can thread a pass through and then look at defence. And like I said before, we've got a bunch of players who can do that. For me, I would have Jackie in there for her technical ability. The technical ability, I think we've all said, is, you know, Hayley Liven's got this technical ability, Millie's got a technical ability. So for me, I put Jackie in for that technical ability, for being able to unlock or give that pass that no one else can see.
To be fair as well to her, she is a terrier on the pitch. You know, she will go after you know, opposition players. She can tackle. She harries them, pressures them. She's a good player. Again, it's really a toss-up in that midfield area. But for me, Hayley, I think, edges it. But any of the choices between her, Jackie, and Katie, you can make a case for.
Yeah. John, what do you make of Jackie's season? I suppose you can call it a season now. Were you impressed, or were you kind of there's best yet to come from her?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, attacking wise, yes, but I think she's probably one of the best when it comes to some of the defensive attributes. So, you know, you both just hit the nail on the head with the amount of pressing that she's done, the amount of unforced errors that she's created for the opponent to make. Some of that sometimes gets unnoticed. I think it's just a shame that she's playing in a role where she needs to be more offensive. We need to be talking about, these goals that she scored or these assists that she scored. But I don't think there's anybody on the pitch apart from maybe Jess who probably wins that ball back more than her. So she's very fit as well. I mean, she's constantly on the go. I think that she will start coming good attacking wise, but she just needs that relationship with the players around her to make that happen. It's not going to be just by herself, unfortunately. You can't question her work rate. Something needs to happen around her to get this going.
Yeah, I mean, Deborah in the comments, she said Jackie can play like people in a small game. But as you said, John, she runs all day too. She's always trying to harass the defence into making mistakes. She's always on them. John has said pretty much the same. She runs a half out the team.
Yeah.
And actually, she's a great team player. I mean, on social media, on Twitter, you'll find that Jackie obviously has a lot of fans, but then she has a lot of people who are saying she's not good enough. And I think it's harsh on any player, especially with what's happened this season, to say they've not had a good season. I hope the best. You will see the best of her. I think we will. I also think, and I think it was said probably yesterday when Nat and Deborah sat down with Rick. She came in with that big, the name of Jackie Groening. She was a World Cup finalist, and she's come in, and maybe that had, maybe as fans, maybe we put a bit too much pressure on her. Who knows? So your fourth pick, shall I go first? Because I think most of us will probably have her in the team somewhere. LJ. I've gone LJ because of everything I said about her before. She's young, she can only get better. But like Jackie, she can play the passes. She can do the things that my team are technically all very good. I think everyone's team is all technically very good. But I like the players who can see the passes before they have to be made, kind of thing. Know where the other players are going. So I've gone for LJ. If someone said, I've never seen a player, someone who's so young with that kind of potential. I know everyone in the men's game, and we've all read the hype about Mason Greenwood. And Mason is, if Dave was here in the comments, Dave would say he's the best player he's seen come through the academy. And potentially he is. But LJ is just, I think, a different player. Deborah said in the comments that LJ is our best finisher. That's another thing, she's our leading goal scorer this season on 6. I know it doesn't sound a lot, and it isn't really when you look at what Niedermar scored. But for me, LJ's in my team because of her all-round game. John, who have you gone for next?
I'll mention LJ now. Then she's my striker, so she's at the top of the diamond. I don't think there's much I can say that everybody else doesn't already know. I just think that she's very skillful. She's good in tight areas. She can obviously score. I think she's just very good on the ball, and I think her feet seems to work like 10 times quicker than the rest of her body because she just makes it look so simple. How she manages just to do a quick turn and create space to get a shot. Some of these things, unless if you might be a coach or someone that studies the game, that's something else that maybe people take for granted. So yeah, LJ, as Deborah said, she's our best finisher. So I've put her at the top of the diamond, and yeah, definitely more to come from her. Definitely.
Yeah. Just going back because I've just seen the comment that John's just put up about Jackie. Once she scores her first goal, she won't stop scoring, and hopefully that's the case. Jack. Oh, I can't guess.
What? Sorry.
I can't guess who yours is now.
Really?
No.
Shall I just help? I'll make it a clean sweep then, and I'll go for Lauren as well as again, I've gone 1-1-2, so technically, I suppose I'd put Lauren as like a right-sided forward. Yeah, I mean, there are still elements of her game, obviously, that need work on in terms of decision making at times. She maybe doesn't release the ball quick enough, and she maybe could have scored maybe a couple more goals than she actually did last season. Like I'm thinking maybe the Chelsea game where she had a big chance to equalise right after Chelsea scored in the League Cup semi-final. But overall, 18-year-old player doing the things that she does. She glides past players. She makes them look silly. And she has a wicked left foot, a wicked right foot. She's got absolutely everything and vision as well to find a pass. So yeah, if she keeps her head down and she works hard and continues to improve and develop, she can really be something special. I don't want to overhype, but potentially maybe one of the best ever for the women's game. Yeah, I've gone with her because she's already great and she can only get better.
Yeah. Very early on when we were talking about LJ beforehand as standout moments, Jake said, I think Arsenal will regret letting her go. And they probably are. They probably will do.
Yeah. I just hope that she stays as long as possible because I can imagine as her development continues, she might have a few offers, potentially maybe even to go back to Arsenal. But I'm hoping that maybe the connection that she has with our team, with our fans, with the club, with Casey, I hope that she stays level-headed, grounded, and that she stays with us for a long time, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean, go on, John.
Now, very quickly, just on that, by the time it is time for maybe LJ to move on, hopefully we'll be in a position where we're, I wouldn't say equal with Arsenal, but at least getting closer to Arsenal or other teams. If we can break into that top three in the next couple of years, then maybe there won't be much need to move on, unless if it is to a very, very top club abroad, maybe. That's the hope anyway, you'd like to think, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully she stays for a long time. I don't know if I could handle it if she went. Nat's breakdown would be, God knows. But if a bigger club does come calling, who knows? Her head might get turned. John's done his five-a-side team, and he's gone for Mary, Amy, interesting, Hayley, Leah, and LJ. Now, no one said Amy, which has surprised me.
I don't think that's a knock on Amy. I just think that Millie is kind of more an all-round player and maybe has a bit more technique about her than Amy. Amy is more like we say, like more of a Vidic, more of a destroyer player, and on a small pitch, you want players that can build and not only destroy, really.
Jake's now pulling up his team, but he's actually kind of upset. We've all left out Jane.
Shocker.
And then he's gone, actually, she misses out on mine too. He's gone Mary, Millie, Hayley, Leah, and Jess.
Good shout.
Yeah, good shout. Ref's done his.
I think that, that's mine. Like, to a T, that's mine.
Mary,
and me, we're peas in the pod, we are.
Well, because you love Ref so much.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I think what I would do, though, if you could have a sub, if you could pick a sub in case, God forbid, someone gets injured, mine would be Amy Turner.
Mine would probably be Jess, because I want someone that will die for the team. that she'll run, and she can, she has goals in her, but she'd also do the defending work. Like if you're maybe trying to see out a game towards the end, she'd help at the back, that kind of thing. So I would with Jess as my six.
Deborah's gone for a slightly controversial team. She's gone for Millie, Frank, Simon, Bruce, and Tina, Millie's mum. And on the bench, she's gone for Alan and Shona.
Yeah.
It's slightly controversial, but it's I can see where she's gone. So, Jack, your last pick is surprisingly Leah.
Yep.
She a bit of a favourite?
She's a bit of a favourite. She, I think, the few games that we had without her last season, it showed how much we miss her. And it shows really how much we need to strengthen the team in general and not just rely on her. But at the same time, she, in terms of her pace and her confidence, she can take on any player, and she's got a killer left foot on her as well. She's chipped in with a few more goals this season. She's a very, very classy player. I mean, I know that on the Twitter polls that apparently the head-to-head was Lauren and Hayley, which I can see. I can see why. But personally, because of her importance and consistency, personally, I would have gone with Leah as my player of the season. So Leah's in there for me.
Okay. I'm going to presume she's yours as well in your team, John.
Sorry, Mark, you're going to be quiet. Just say that again, sorry.
I presume she's in your team as well?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. On my right-hand side is Jess. So, just sorry, you got it there. I can see you writing a few down. I've got Hayley. On the left, I've got Leah Galton. Up top, I've got LJ. And on the right, I've got Jess. If I had to get a sub in there, I'd probably have to go for a defender eventually. So I'd probably go for a return on that one. But yeah, I think Jess would be the icing on the cake for me on that right-hand side, who can score, track back, press, and do anything needed, really, I would have thought.
Yeah, not surprisingly, it's a clean sweep. I've gone for Leah as well. I don't think you could leave her out. What surprises me, and Jake's just coming into the comments with it, none of us have picked Katie. And actually, I think Katie's a brilliant player.
I like Katie a lot as well, but I think that Hayley is maybe a bit more well-rounded, and again, maybe I went a bit more balanced in terms of my team makeup. So I was thinking about someone that can potentially help maybe Millie defend, but also someone that could distribute the ball to Leah and Lauren to get goals, and maybe even chip in from midfield as well.
Yeah, no, I've really gone for. I've not gone for any of this defending rubbish. Your attack and whatever happens at the back happens. You go with it.
Jose fan and Casey fan. Woo!
You're parking the bus. You're parking the bus before you've even started.
Get in there.
Can you see?
1-0 win. Get in.
In a 5-a-side game.
No.
God, John.
Yeah.
John. Jake wants a petition to make a WSL a 5-a-side league.
I think the players that we've chose would be quite good, wouldn't it?
It'd be quite good to actually have to go and watch.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, and I think we'd have a good team because we've, the 5 players that we've picked are potentially as good as any 5 that Arsenal, Chelsea, or City could pick. So, we're not far away there.
The one thing that I was with mine, I've gone for Jackie on the right because she plays there sometimes for Holland. And for me, I was thinking of, could I dare leave out Leah? And the answer is you can't, because I, as I said before, I like Leah and I love Kirsty Hansen. The way they play, the way they can just run past defenders. And I was thinking, I need one, maybe two of them. Can I get them both in? And unfortunately, I couldn't. As much as I tried to tinker around with the team and try and work out to somehow get Kirsty and Leah and Jackie in for me, I couldn't do it because you couldn't leave out LJ. I couldn't leave out Millie, and but picking a five-a-side team is always one of those things that is difficult because you've got to leave out some really good players. And going back to the point we've all made this whole chat is that the one thing we've got is good players. So we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks for everyone who's watched. We'll be back next week at the usual time of 7, unless United are playing, the first team are playing. I don't know.
Next week.
What day next week?
I think it's Tuesday.
Is it?
Saturday and Tuesday, yeah. I think.
Who are we even playing? Oh, is it Southampton?
I think we've got Norwich and the FA Cup at some point, don't we?
That's Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
All right. So we'll be back next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. I don't know whether I'm going to be on it. Probably. If not me, then Deborah. And we'll have someone else with us talking about something. We'll figure it out as we go along, probably. Thanks, John, for being on. Thanks, Jack. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you.